This video is an audio-only commentary. See the description for the complete version if you want to actually see stuff. The complete experience, if you will. I want to take a break from the regular nonsense to just be real with you guys. I'm speaking not as the internet name Draconis March, the elitist prick who rages at and rips apart bad anime, but as a 22-year-old college student who just happens to partake in Chinese cartoons. Today, I'm going to tell you a very personal story and how anime played a part in it. Some time ago, near the beginning of summer of 2012, I was asked by my dad to help work on putting up a swing set for a woman that went to our church who was taking care of her granddaughter. Yep, that's right, I go to church. I'm a Christian. I sure don't talk like it, and I know I shouldn't use bad words. It's just something I need to work on. Some Christian I am, right? This lady won her son's daughter from him in a custody battle because he was a worthless sack of garbage father. This little girl's name is Haley. In fact, just a couple of days ago, both of Haley's biological parents were arrested for running an active meth lab in their house, along with some other man. They had 4 other kids in the house with them 5 months to 4 years of age, who are now in the care of Child Protective Services. That's how much of a worthless piece of trash they are. If you could pray for those kids, and for Haley, and for her grandma, I couldn't thank you enough. Anyways, we'd be leaving bright and early at 8 a.m. Since I normally didn't go to bed until like 5 or 6 in the morning because of my job, I really didn't want to do it. I'd basically be a zombie. It's important to know how much of a selfish poop I used to be. Well, I still am, but not as much anymore. But then I thought about it, and I eventually decided to do it. Now what reason would I possibly have for that? Well, you'll find out in a bit. So I wake up at like 7 so I can get ready. So I'm on a whole, not even 4 hours of sleep, ready to put a swing set together. It doesn't really matter, since I figure I'll just be doing manual labor the whole day. Anyway, we get there, go around the side of the house with all of our stuff, and there's Haley and her grandma, or mama as she says it, already up and at 'em. Do note that I'd actually never met either of them before, in spite of going to this church for several years. We start setting up our stuff, and Haley comes over and just kneels down on the cement sidewalk to start watching us work. I was automatically like, aw, she's gonna be sitting there all day long looking forward to this thing getting finished. Now, her mama isn't exactly rolling in dough, so this swing set was kind of a huge deal for her. Her usual toys were just some plastic dinosaurs. So while my brother, dad, and I are getting all our stuff organized before beginning the actual work, I couldn't stop thinking about that as she just sat there and watched us. She had a bug catcher that she had obviously been using before we got there. A bug catcher and dinosaurs. I know, coolest 5-year-old girl ever, right? No dolls for her. And her mama told her multiple times that she had to stay away until we were finished, so she kept turning to it as though she were going to play with it reluctantly while we worked, but almost instantly turned back to watch us. I'm thinking, man, I should just go see what she's up to and maybe play with her. But for some reason, I was shy and couldn't figure out how I should do that. Stupid, right? I was scared of her immediately deciding she didn't like me or would be scared of me or whatever. Finally, I just say, screw it, and go over and kneel down next to her and ask what she's got in the bug catcher. She looks at me, kind of taken aback by the fact that I'm talking to her at first, and says, "Sluggies." Oh yeah? Are you flipping over stuff and finding them? Yeah. Can I see them? And from that point, as they say, everything was history. I literally spent 6 hours just playing with Haley while everyone else who showed up labored on the swing set. Yeah, I know, what a slacker. It was actually really easy, since she's kind of a tomboy, and likes a lot of the things that I loved doing as a kid. It was a major nostalgia trip at the same time as it was just a great life experience. Walking around the house, flipping over rocks, collecting bugs and slugs in that little plastic box. It still brings a smile to my face every time I remember how she said things like, "Sluggies," and "This one's fat, so he's probably a daddy sluggy," and "Snaky." We also played catch with a frisbee, I'd give her piggyback rides, and I'd just carry her around as she'd point and give me directions. That way. By the end of the day, she had told her mama that she liked me more than the other guys working on the swing set. And mind you, they were all people from the church that she went to, and had known them all for a while, much longer than me, anyway. And she was sad when I needed to sit down to rest. She had 10 times more energy than I did. I ended up super exhausted, and needed a hardcore nap before I went to work later in the afternoon. But man, That one day was one of the fondest memories I've ever acquired. I had never known just entertaining a kid took so much out of you, so I instantly gained empathy for everyone who's ever taken care of a kid or raised a child ever. You're probably thinking, what does this have to do with anime? Patience. I'll get there soon enough. So as I was leaving, Haley came out to my car with me to say goodbye. Before I left, I promised I'd see her at church the next morning. Now see, this was near the beginning of summer, and I hadn't been going to church nearly as often as I used to, so this was kind of a big deal. So I show up at church, right? In all my sleep-deprived glory. She's in children's church, so the only time I'll see her is immediately after. Church ends, and I'm kind of messing around, talking to some people, waiting for several minutes, and she still hasn't gotten out of children's church yet. I'm really tired and really want to take a nap before work. I'm not in the most patient of moods. So like the idiot I am, I figure, well, she probably forgot about me anyway, so it'll be fine if she doesn't see me today. She's just a 5-year-old kid anyway. At least, that's what I told myself. So I leave. No sooner did I get home than my dad calls me and says, I've got a really disappointed little girl here who wants to see her friend. I can hear sniffling in the background and everything. Man, do I feel like a jerk. I immediately get back in my car and drive back to church. As soon as I walk through the front door, her mama puts her down and she runs up to me with the biggest grin I'd ever seen. I pick her up and she just clings to me like a baby sloth, still sniffling. And that whole experience was what made me decide to start helping in Sunday school. Now, Sunday is pretty much my favorite day of the week, despite my having to get up early. Is teaching and caring for kids easy? No. Is it rewarding? You bet it is. It's the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my whole life. I used to work at Walmart, and there, I noticed the parents who had their kids with them. I noticed how they treated them. It was so adorable to hear a 3-year-old girl say, "Daddy, hold my hand." Things like that just made retail not too bad. But then, you get the moms who drop F-bombs on their 5-year-olds, and things like that, surprisingly enough, make me more disappointed than angry. People like that really have no right to be taking care of a kid. It's just one of the many things that ensure my hope for humanity as a whole stays dead. So what even spurned this in the first place? I, like many other people, used to think that kids were just annoying, and never really paid attention to them at all when I saw them in public. I was a naive idiot. That is, until these 4 anime completely changed my mindset. Usagi Drop, Kobato, Clannad After Story, and Grave of the Fireflies. The first 2 on that list were by far the biggest influence. Usagi Drop depicts both the joys and pains of raising a child, and had more heartwarming moments than I could possibly hope to count. You can't help but commend Daikichi for how he drastically alters his own life to accommodate the raising of another. Seriously, that takes balls. If I could meet this guy in real life, I'd take him out to coffee, and give him tickets to Disney World or something so he could take Green. Kobato isn't all about taking care of kids, but it is a big part of the story. Her goal is to fill a jar with confetti by healing other people's suffering hearts. However, a big part of her time is spent just helping out at a financially struggling preschool for free, without actively gaining any confetti, much to the disapproval of Iroyogi-san, her mentor of sorts. She's also really good with the kids there. From this show, I learned about altruism, and how rewarding it is when you get out of yourself and help others just for the sake of helping others, not because you expect something in return. I've had many moments since watching this where I was faced with a situation where I could have chosen selfishness and literally thought, what would Kobato do? It probably sounds retarded, but it's actually happened. Shouldn't a Christian be asking, what would Jesus do? I saw Clannad After Story first among these 4, and it was what first sowed these seeds in the first place, as it depicts Tomoya's coming to terms with reality and fatherhood, along with all the joys and pains that come with the territory. It was this final part of Clannad that made the entire franchise really worth it. Maybe now you can understand why I get so upset about lolis, the sexualization and objectification of little girls in anime and manga. I've always thought pedophilia was pretty much the most disgusting thing in the world, but now that I have a personal stake in the matter, it's, well, personal. Like I ranted on in the first video I ever made, lolis are still depictions of little girls, and regardless of the fact that they aren't real, they're nevertheless treated as such by lolicons. I ask any lolicons out there to seriously consider the implications that come with that fetish. I think that deep down, most lolicons know those desires are extremely unhealthy, but take refuge in the fact that there are others like them. I simply want you to pause for a moment to seriously think about it. Did you know that there are people who actually come on my videos and tell me that pedophilia is okay? Not just in anime, but real life? Here, just check out some of these comments. Oh my god. I wish I could report this guy to the police. Such a person shouldn't be taking care of children, regardless of whether or not he isn't actually doing anything. It doesn't matter if you haven't actually done anything. Having a sexual attraction to children alone is just as bad as actually carrying out the act. It means you still have the desire to do such things, and the only thing keeping you from doing them is that it's illegal. It would mean you'd go to jail, but if you wouldn't go to jail, you'd do them. Don't even pretend you wouldn't. Pedophilia is not a choice. It's not a preference. It's not a taste. It's a mental disorder. Don't talk about it like it's no different than the type of food you prefer or the clothes you like to wear. Please do the world a favor and stop eating everyone else's air. I currently take care of around 6 girls, along with some boys, at Sunday school, depending on the week, mostly 4 and 5-year-olds. And if someone even tried to do something to any of them, I would probably kill them. I simply don't think I could restrain myself, and I probably wouldn't even feel bad about it either. I really wouldn't mind going to prison for removing a child molester from society, as long as it meant the kids didn't have to be subjected to that. I treat them like they're my own. I can't tell you how many times I've heard the excuse, "It's okay because they're not real," and then you see people post absolutely disgusting things on anime discussion websites. Like this. Listen to this one. Anyone seen Boku wa Tomodachi ga Sukanai? Well, if you haven't, the main character has this loli emoto, and in one scene, she comes out of the bath completely naked, and they go so far as to show her nipples, uncensored as she glomps the dude. And then, someone posted a screenshot of that and said, "I just want to rub her nipples." Shh! Oh my god! Can I please unread that? Pass the brain bleach, please. For God's sake. How disturbed do you have to be to actually think things like that? Do you actually expect someone who isn't completely brain dead to actually accept the excuse that, "It's okay because they're not real"? You treat them like they are. You just wish you could do real things to... I'm done with that topic. I snipe at loliconism every chance that appears, and will keep doing so, and now you know part of the reason why. This is the first and last time I'll address you lolicons without throwing out a string of obscenities, like you're actual human beings. I really don't understand why little kids can't just be little kids, and not some twisted form of fetish fuel. In no universe will you ever convince me that pedophilia is acceptable, much less tolerable, in any form. Back to the original topic. The effect anime has had is so profound and far-reaching that I almost switched my major to teaching because of it. I entered college as a freshman in chemical engineering. I kept my head above water for 2 years before I finally decided it wasn't for me, and I switched to computer science. Some way toward the end of the first year of that was when I seriously thought about teaching and thought, I don't dislike where I'm going now, but teaching, that would be something I'd love to do. But when I considered all the factors, it simply wouldn't work. I have diabetes, which costs quite a lot to properly take care of even with good insurance. And considering teachers are abysmally underpaid, and the fact that I do plan on having kids someday, and that I would want to be able to support them as well as possible, as well as be able to send them to college, computer science would have been much better. I really don't care about having money to buy myself cool things, and I definitely care more about having a job I'm happy doing, but I really want to be able to solidly support children when the time comes. In addition to this, I was already 3 years into school, and to switch to teaching, I'd basically have to start all over, since most of the credits I had already taken wouldn't count. And I was already getting sick of school. All things considered, teaching simply wasn't an option. If I wasn't in school and was financially capable, I would seriously adopt Haley. I'm just not in any position to. She's pretty happy with her mama anyways. She may be reluctant to follow instructions and stuff, but then every kid is like that sometimes. But she's super sweet and happy and just a joy to be around. I guess that's what it feels like to be a grandparent. I'm thinking that maybe, once I'm free from college and have a stable job, I'll adopt a girl from an orphanage. Who knows? I can only aspire to be as awesome as Daikichi. Anime isn't just a form of brainless entertainment, contrary to the excuse that a huge number of anime fans like to repeat to justify what they like to watch. There's true and genuine art out there. Powerful and compelling stories about characters you can really care and feel for. You just have to find it among the piles of other trash it's buried beneath. Anime can definitely teach you things, but it's ultimately meaningless if it doesn't cause actual change in your mindset or behavior. You can easily pick out someone who's immature when their only opinion of kids is that they're annoying. I was like that too, but these anime helped me learn how wrong I was. They helped me grow up and changed me for the better. It's just a shame that so many titles choose to take the cheap and easy road of fan service and pandering and sacrifice quality for easy money. It's because of my experiences with moving, compelling, well-written anime that I hold it to such high standards. The medium's potential is truly infinite. It's obvious that it can achieve great things when it decides to actually try and not take the easy way out. Anyways, there's my story. Pretty personal, but I hope you at least got something out of it. Maybe you'll even look at anime differently now too. Until next time.